So I got 3 videos I gotta make today, so I'm gonna go through this as quickly as I can. People have been asking me for my mod pack. The idea with this mod pack is I'm trying to keep it close to vanilla as possible, and I'm not trying to use anything that's too game breaking. I'm also trying to reduce lag. A full link to all the mods is gonna be in the description below, and you just go down here to subscribe to all if you want to play with exactly the mods I'm playing with. And they are, by the way, in the correct order. So we're gonna start with Harmony. You have to load this mod first before even the core game. Then you load up the core game in the expansion. Then we got Hugslib, Jex Tools. These are just functionality mods for other mods. Then we got Vanilla Factions Expanded Core, again another functionality mod. But then we got Vanilla Factions Expanded Insectoids, which is a new mod, and I did a whole video on this mod. It's really cool. It adds a lot of new insectoids. And now we got a bunch of Vanilla Furniture Expanded mods. Farming just adds a few more tech into the game, like a Sprinkler, which will boost the growth rate of crops. Production adds a bunch of electric versions of like butcher tables and other production buildings. Power gives you more ways to generate power. Spacer module adds a bunch of new endgame furniture, and medical adds some stuff like new medical beds and linkables, and they make surgery easier. We got Vanilla Armor, Apparel, and Weapons expanded, and they add new armor, apparel, and weapons, and I think they're not too broken, but I think they still do add to the game. We then got Smart Medicine, so doctors can use medicine from their inventory. Usually it will have to be on the ground before they'll use it, but you can just put it in their inventory and they'll use it automatically now. Smart Speed adds another speed level, but one thing I just found out about the mod is you can right click on the time controls and you can set the event speed multiplier down to ignore, and this stops the game from only allowing you to go in one time speed when like you're getting raided. Sivir Ship 2 is a huge mod. It's like an expansion pack basically. I've never played with it, but I'm going to in this run. Oh wow, and this is actually really cool. So apparently SRTS Expanded is now compatible with Sivir Ship, and SRTS Expanded allows you to build smaller ships that you can use to transport yourself around the map. They do require chem fuel, and with this new revelation, one small adjustment to the mod list, we're gonna have to load SRTS Expanded after the core and the expansion, before Hugslib and Jex Tools and everything else. We then got Prepare Carefully, which allows you to customize your colonists at the start of the game. Vanilla Hair Expanded, which just adds more hairstyles. Mad Skills, this one actually is kind of important. Go to options and go to mod settings and go down to mad skills and then do show settings. And basically with this mod, you can change the amount that skills decay. I've changed it down to 25%. And now I think about it, maybe even like 25% is a bit much. I'm gonna change it down to 15. The default decay value I think is just way too high. You can also change the skill Great Memory, which lowers skill decay. But since you already lowered skill decay, you can now change it to increase the learning rate by 25%. And then we got like the daily XP limit. The RimWorld default is 4K, so I've just not changed that. Then again, you know what, screw it. Like, we're not gonna have a daily XP limit. We're just gonna let everyone get as much XP as they want. Pretty much, like 30K is a lot of XP. The idea here is I'm just trying to reduce the grind in this game. If you want games to last longer, then just don't use this mod. This Don't Block Door mod will make it so colonists won't place stuff in the doors and leave them open. If someone accidentally blocks the door to your prisoner room with like a weapon, your prisoners will try to escape, and this just makes it so colonists will never try to block the doors. Realistic rooms, I believe, halves the space requirement of rooms, and this one I think is a must. Like if we look at Lily's room, it's average size with this amount of space, and like look at the bed, it's not even taking up that much space in the room. There's space for tons more things. Camera Plus allows you to zoom in more, and on the settings I believe it's defaulted with animals have the same marker, and I think include untamed animals is also default, which is going to make your map look like this. Like there's a bunch of dots now for all the animals on the map, so just put animals have no marker and uncheck include untamed animals just to reduce clutter on your map. I'm still not sure how I feel about Prisoner Ransom. It allows you to sell off prisoners. I'm still not sure if I'm going to use it in this run, as I feel like they give you too much silver for prisoners. Down here we got 4 giddy up mods, and essentially after you've tamed an animal like this alpaca for example, then you have to train up its guard skill. Once you've done that, colonists can right click on the alpaca and they can mount it. Also on the world map, when you're forming a caravan, you can have someone ride the alpaca and it'll make your caravan much quicker usually, although when you're riding it, it can't carry stuff. Also in your base, if a colonist is near a trained up animal, they will just automatically mount it and ride it to their destination. All right, down here we got animal gear and animal armor. This just adds the ability to make armor for your animals. Now we just got a bunch of animals expanded mods, and these are just cool animals that are added to different biomes, and in my opinion they're by no means broken. They just add a different kind of flavor to different biomes. With a rangefinder, if you hit control on a colonist, you can see their range. If you double tap control, you can permanently see their range until you disable it. With simple search bar, if you make like a stockpile, you can search up, like for example, if I only want to stockpile sniper rifles here, I start typing in sniper rifle, don't even have to finish it, go down here, it only shows me sniper rifles, so I can like clear all and then only have sniper rifles be stored here. Run and gun allows colonists to fire while they're moving, but it also works for the AI, so I think it's fairly balanced in that sense. It does also put a accuracy penalty while you're moving, and you can actually change all these values, but I'm just gonna leave them as default. There's also a movement penalty for using heavier weapons, which is quite big. With lighter weapons, you still have a movement penalty, but it's much lower. You can change this stuff as well, but I think it's pretty balanced. Also, if you're getting chased down and you're using like a really heavy weapon, you can turn off run and gun, and that will make you move at normal speeds. Filth vanishes with rain and time is exactly as it sounds. Blood and dirt washes away with the rain, and I think this was actually added to the base game in a recent patch. Bad can be good rebalances a bunch of bad traits. A lot of them still suck, but like this Wildman, who unfortunately did die in the last episode due to a massive heat wave we had. He was greedy and he needs a big bedroom, but it also increases his eating speed, so he eats quicker, and it allows him to carry more stuff. And I looked over all the traits and they seem pretty reasonable, so yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of this mod. Snap Out allows people to convince others to snap out of a mental breakdown based on the relation between the two people and based on a person's social skill. Fluffy Breakdowns makes it so all appliances will decay over time, but they won't just randomly break down. People assigned to construction will just randomly go around and maintain appliances. Quality Builder will just make it so only your best builder will build things like chairs. And when you're building something like this bed, you can right click on Quality Builder and you can make it so they will keep building and deconstructing the bed until they make like an excellent one, for example. And like Lily made a normal one. She's not satisfied with that though, because it's not excellent, so she will deconstruct it. And you lose 12 steel for deconstructing it, but yeah, she'll just keep coming back until she makes an excellent one, which she's pretty hopeless at doing that right now because she only has 6 construction. Pick up and haul will make it so people will pick up and haul multiple things at once. And like for example, this room's a mess. We'll right click on hauling uranium, then shift right click on hauling heavy fur, and it will just make Lily go around and just pick up a ton of stuff. And yeah, pretty essential mod. Tech advancing is pretty important, especially if you're starting with like a tribal faction. And if we go over to its config and then we go config, on this scenario we start with the tech level spacer. So default is that you have to research all the techs below a certain tech level and then you'll advance to the next tech level. Or for the next rule, you can make it so you only have to research a certain amount of tech, like 50% of all the techs, then you'll advance to the next tech level. And I think 50% is potentially even a bit high because there's a lot of techs that you don't really care about when you're playing. I'm gonna lower this down to 20 again just to reduce the grind, and then to activate rule B we have to put a 1 here. One small side note about tech levels is it does impact prisoner resist. Like if you're on the same tech level as your prisoner, then it will be much easier to recruit them. The main thing about tech level though is it changes the amount of research that's required to research different techs. Like if we want to research the ability to build the Genesis, which is a SRTS ship, it's an Archotech tech, and that's 2 levels above our tech level, and that's going to increase our research required by quite a bit. It's actually going to double it. Or like these techs, neural network and cybernetic organism, are ultra, which adds a bunch of really late game enhancements to the game. They are really strong, but they require a ton of medical to be able to install. And under the mod page there's a full list of all of them. I believe the crafting skill requirement is also the medical skill requirement required to install these things into people. And like combat AI, you can see 17 crafting skill requirement, and I believe it's also a 17 medical skill requirement. Okay, I actually did some testing and like laser detection only takes 8 medical and it says 15 crafting skills, so that's not the case. I just thought it was because yeah, combat AI requires 17 medical. I know that for a fact, but this is a really good enhancement. And I don't know the requirement for the rest, but mainly just be aware that like the better tier ones, like probably Muse Chip, and actually never mind, Muse Chip only requires 10 medical. This one, Neuro Enhancer though, is another 17 medical requirement one, which is weird. Its crafting skill is actually less than the Muse Chip. I really wish the mod creator put on here how much medical is required for each enhancement. Anyway, so this mod, Avoid Friendly Fire, will make it so a colonist will not fire at an enemy if they could potentially hit an ally. When people are in combat, you can also toggle this on and off when things get a little bit too hairy and you just need to unload. Embrasures adds new walls that people can shoot out of. They are a bit more expensive, and I've gone over my basic embrasure setup. You want a wall, then an embrasure, and people will kind of take cover behind the wall and then they'll shoot out the embrasure, and that offers them really good cover. You don't want to just have a full line of embrasures. Subsurface Conduits makes it so people can build power lines underground. They do take 3 times the amount of steel though, and a lot more work. Selling prisoners with no guilt allows you to just sell prisoners and people won't be upset, and I think this is completely okay. Why would people be upset that you can sell prisoners when these people literally attacked you? Minify Everything allows you to just literally move everything. Like I could even minify this embrasure and move it over here, which is just a quality of life mod. And when you're a noob like me and you're constantly needing to move stuff around, definitely a mod I would recommend if you're a more experienced player and you know exactly how to build your own layouts. And if this were more like a serious run, like maybe if it was like a competitive somehow tournament style RimWorld thing, then yeah, maybe I wouldn't suggest using this mod. But most of us here are just filthy casuals, so yeah. Home Mover allows you to move entire structures. With the Minify Everything mod, you have to have that thing too. But if you go over to orders and then you go to Home Mover and you select everything, it will move everything. Replace Stuff allows you to build like a door directly on top of a wall, and they'll just build it without deconstructing the wall first, and then the wall will be deconstructed afterwards. Defensive Positions makes it so you can assign people different positions. Like right now, these guys are not in a great position, but right click on Defensive Positions, save it, and then let them go back to whatever they were doing. When we're getting raided, we click Defensive Position, and these guys will go back to exactly the position they were at. Simple Sidearms allows you to load out multiple weapons. Like we got Doomguy over here with his chain shotgun, but if he also has a knife in his inventory, we can just click on the sidearm and he'll just swap it out to his knife. Rods, Bionics, and Surgery allows you to craft multiple bionics and some more implants. It has its own tech, and then you have to research all these techs, but it adds the ability to make bionic parts and then advanced bionic parts. Miscellaneous Robots and Robots Plus adds various robots to the game that can do different stuff like crafting, planting, building, surgery, and like the highest tier tier robot tech takes 30k research on top of all the other research, or you can just buy them from traders. For the tier 5 robots, which have 20 in their skills, require, I think it's like 12k silver. Blueprints allows you to create a blueprint on a building. Like we go down here to create, click and drag over this room. We can name this room bedroom 1, and we can reproduce this bedroom down here. The work tab makes it so you can have 9 tiers of priorities, and you can also change it so that you can just instantly select if someone wants to do something or not. Whereas like with this tier system, you have to click a bunch down to 0. So yeah, it just gives you quicker access to deciding what people want to do. And holy crap, I did not even see this part of the mod. So first of all, you can select what time you want people to do stuff, which like that right there is too big brain for me. But also this part's actually really important. Say like Lily is really good at taming animals, like she has 20 in animals, so you're okay with her going around and taming animals. But then you got someone else that's got like 6 in animals, and you want them to just like milk the cows or something. You can select if like you want Khan to just train up the animals, and then Lily can do taming only. Vanilla events expanded just adds a bunch of events. There's one really cool that's like a spaceship battle, and yeah, here's the event. Basically just a bunch of ships rain down, and then you got people that are wounded. You got a bunch of ship chunks that drop. Then we got Fallout traits, which adds a bunch of new traits to the game, which I think are pretty cool. Then we got My Little Planet and faction control, and I've actually used these to generate the current map I'm playing on. So with My Little Planet, we can change the planet size to potentially really tiny if we wanted to, but mine's on just this middle meter, which is still a lot smaller than the default. Default's way over here. But yeah, this is the map size I'm playing on. Then we go over to faction control, and I changed the base density up to insanely high, and then we can change the total number of faction groups to appear on the world. If you're playing with a really small map, you can only go like 20, I think, max. And then I also changed the amount of insect colonies up to like 15, and then I increased the settlers up to 5 each. But yeah, this is how a map normally should look with the settings I chose. And then we got Gunplay, which people were asking about this mod. It adds a little trail behind projectiles when people shoot. Under the mod settings, you can change the projectile speed back down to 100%, so it looks like vanilla. I don't think the speed actually affects gameplay at all. We then got doors expanded, which adds new doors that you can research. Like we got this jail door for the prisoners, and I believe it's tankier than a normal door. You can also make remote doors. This seems really big brain. You can make remote doors that people can remotely open. And then we got blast doors, which is quite a bit of tech, 3k, but it allows you to make really tanky doors. Like this blast door has 1k HP, or then we got this huge one which has 2k HP. I'm sure it costs a lot of materials. Then we got Evolved Organs Redux, which I've never actually used this mod yet. It adds a bunch of really high tier modifications that I kind of think go pretty well with the theme of this run, because they're kind of insectoid-ish based. We then got Vanilla Factions Expanded Settlers, which I'm actually using in my current Doomguy run. It adds a new faction in the game, and we also got Vanilla Factions Expanded Medieval, which adds a new medieval faction, as well as a new storyteller and some medieval themed armor and weapons. I actually am not using this on this current run, but it's a pretty solid mod, and also it adds a new event, Castle Ruins, to the game. We also got Vanilla Weapons Retexture, and this is why my weapons look a bit different. Like this is the new look of the revolver. It just looks a bit more clean, I guess. And then here's a look at the chain shotgun. It also looks pretty clean. We then got Wild Animals Doing It, and it basically does exactly what it sounds like. More Slaves does what it says. It adds more slaves you can buy from other colonies, especially when you don't have that many people in your colony. When you start to get more people, you will find that colonies will not sell you any slaves anymore. Carry capacity fix makes it so not all people have 35 kg max carry capacity. And like on my Doomguy run, Doomguy has this Fallout trait, Very Strong Back, which gives him 75 more carrying capacity, and he can carry 165 kg of stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this mod pack. If you guys have any mods that you want to suggest in the comments, then I'll be checking over the comments, and I'll heart any ones that I think are really good and that I'm gonna add to the run. With that, I still got 2 more videos to record, so yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys there. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.